Now, I want to play for you part of a speech from Congressman Trey Gowdy. This is from the House floor yesterday. Good stuff. Listen, please.
President Obama announced one of the largest extra-constitutional power grabs ever by a chief executive. He declared unilaterally that almost 5 million undocumented aliens will receive deferred action under some newfangled definition of prosecutorial discretion. Madam Speaker, his position may have changed after the election, I hasten to add, but the Constitution has not.
He's responding to President Obama, who has vowed to use his veto pen for everything. A whole line of vetoes right there. Vetoing the 40-hour work week, vetoing the Keystone Pipeline. He's rallying Democrat leaders to back him up. Are they going to back him up with this series of vetoes? GOP strategist Lisa Boothe joins us now. Lisa, this is really a test for the Democrats, isn't it? How far to the left are they prepared to be dragged by this incumbent president?
Absolutely. We have seen this shift to the left as well. We saw this after the 2014 election, which really represented the end of the moderate Democrat. But here's the thing I think that's interesting about President Obama's veto threats is that he really hasn't had to use his veto threat yet because he's had Harry Reid and Senate Democrats essentially serving as a veto for him against House Republicans. So it's to be seen how much he will actually use his veto authority. But what we do know, Stuart, is we know that President Obama is sending a strong message to Republicans that it's my way or the highway. We saw that, which what you showed with what Trey Gowdy was responding to, is him moving forward unilaterally on his executive action on immigration. And he's also sent that message through making these sort of veto threats. But here's what Republicans need to do. We need to force his hand, but we need to be judicious in what legislation we send to his desk. We need to be, sending legislation like the Keystone Pipeline to his desk.
Well, okay, hold on a second. Let me interrupt you for 1 second here. We just brought the news that the 2 million of these illegal immigrants who are going to be granted amnesty by the president, up to 2 million of them, will be allowed to get Social Security benefits, Medicare benefits, as well as a check from the government in the form of the Earned Income Tax Credit. 2 million people. Now, it's not some fringe group that's saying this is going to happen. This is the Congressional Budget Office. I don't think it's widely known that newly amnested immigrants will get a check from the United States Treasury. And I think when that is widely known, there's going to be considerable outrage about this. And I'm wondering how many Democrats will back it up.
Well, I think you're right, and it's incumbent upon Republicans and it's incumbent upon the media to raise that question and to raise that issue because it is incredibly concerning. Look, we're facing an $18 trillion debt, and these are the policies of the administrations, is to hose taxpayers. We saw this with his announcement of free community college as well. Where is this money coming from? We can't afford this.
So the Democrats, I think they're in trouble here because when that kind of question is posed, why are we giving amnested illegals a check from the Treasury? Why are we giving free college? I think the Democrats have to answer that question. They've got to stand up. Are they going to vote for it? Are they going to do that in the Senate? You tell me.
Right, and I hope, well, and this is what Republicans need to do, as I mentioned. It's incumbent upon us to tell the American people why these policies are bad, because at face value, politically speaking, things like the minimum wage debate or free community college or amnesty may sound good to Americans, but we would need to explain why those things are bad and why President Obama's executive action on amnesty is bad. And it's because taxpayers are the ones that are going to end up paying the cost. And so it's our responsibility to make that case and to tell Americans.
Okay, hold on a second, Lisa. There's been some movement in the room there in the White House where the news conference is about to begin with President Obama and Britain's Prime Minister David Cameron. We're waiting for the two men to appear in front of those two podia right there. We're told that it's going to be imminent, and of course you will be able to listen in when it happens. Now, Lisa, the president is almost certainly going to be asked about terrorism. I suspect he's going to be asked why he doesn't call it Islamic terrorism. I think he may be asked why he's releasing terrorists from Gitmo out into the general population to do us harm again. Are you expecting any retreat from the president on his positions on terror?
I don't. All we've seen from this president is weakness when it comes to foreign policy. I mean, this is someone who says he wants to degrade and destroy ISIS, but we've done nothing to do that. And it's incredibly concerning when we see things that, happened in Paris, or the terrorist plot that was foiled in Australia, and the terrorist attack in Canada. And we see these things happening across the world, and we see ISIS spreading its reach in Iraq, spreading its reach in Syria, spreading its reach in North Africa. But yet we're sitting idly by, and we have a president who is afraid to declare a war on terror, who's afraid to go after these terrorists and afraid to call them what they are.
But wait a second, he doesn't want to admit that on his watch, Islamic terror has been reignited. He went into the 2012 election saying Osama is dead and GM's alive. Well, Osama is indeed dead, but right after that election, up comes ISIS. And the president seems to ignore that. I think he's very concerned that it doesn't get out there as part of his legacy that Islamic terror reignited on his watch. I think that's where he's coming from.
Well, I think what we've seen from this president is someone who is repeatedly more concerned about his legacy than what is in the best interest of Americans. We've seen this in foreign policy. We've seen this with granting executive action to illegal immigrants. We've seen this with Obamacare. We've seen this time and time again, whether it's a domestic issue or whether it's an international issue. We've seen this time and time again from the president. And this is coming, does it surprise you coming from a president who once said that ISIS was JV?
No, I take your point. I do take your point.